Okay, good morning, Sarah, or anyone else tuning in. We were just looking at function notation, function. Each x value is paired with one and only one y value. So we looked at this first one. This is not a function because I could draw a vertical line and it touches more than once. The x value at around 2.5 is paired with 1, 2, 3 y values. It's definitely not a function. The second example, anywhere you go, vertical lines, it passes. Each x value is paired with one and only one y value. That is a function. Then, right now, I'll pause. We're using f of x equals 1 minus 4x minus x squared to find f of negative 1. We do that right now, f of 2 plus h. We'll go through this one together. Maybe try this one. So I'll pause and you can get to work. And check your answers for A and B with me when you. Okay, A, the answer, numerical answer, is 4. F of 2 plus h means anywhere I see the letter x, I replace it with 2 plus h, right? It's function composition, where you put a function inside another function. That's the term we use. Okay. So f of 2 plus h, I'm going to just move this down and give me a little space here. I see that 4 was glued to it. So that's equal to 1 minus 4 times 2 plus h minus 2 plus h squared. Then we keep working it out. 1 minus, I distribute the minus 4. Minus 4 times 2 is 8, negative 8. Then minus 4 times h. Subtract 4h. I'm going to keep this minus sign here. This is the biggest chance for mistakes, distributing this negative sign. Now, 2 plus h squared. So 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 2h, so that's 4h. Plus h squared. You should have 3 terms. Did anybody make the mistake of just having 2 terms?
Yeah. I'm so confused.
I'm just going to backtrack then. So right now, I'll do the scratch work. This 2 plus h squared means, what you guys have, I bet, was 4 plus h squared, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you were to like write it all out.
Okay. When I work that out, I think you see it right now. 2 times 2, distribute the 2 through the h, there's 2h. 2 times h again, so 2h plus 2h is 4h. Lastly, h times h for h squared. 3 terms. Okay, and then it's just a matter of grouping like terms and distributing that minus sign. Maybe I'll just rewrite it. So I'm subtracting minus 4, now minus 4h minus h squared. Now I can group signs. Just because it makes some people feel better, I'll put the h squared term first. Minus h squared. Minus 8h. Minus 12 plus 1, 11. Oh, minus. Subtract 11. Okay. Yes, I do. Keep it hidden, no, because I have some students in one particular class. You know who. Anyone is welcome to have it, even that person. But when I had it out, I think I was going through, in the 3 weeks or something, because I was going through 1 Kleenex box a week, and there's one particular student who grabbed it, like 4 or 5 Kleenexes at a time, twice in a class. And just, I don't know how big the person's nose is, the same size as mine. 2 Kleenexes I can understand, but holy smokes. Anyways, so that person is welcome to ask me, I've said that, but when I have them out there, it's just like, grab it. Anyways, sorry.
Thank you. I got it.
Okay, just took a photo of G. We'll try this out down below here, though. Oh, I actually have it down here. 4. Didn't even notice it. Okay. 1 minus 4x minus x squared is the f function. This means we've got to plug x plus h into that function. This means just write it down as is, f of x. And h is just a new variable. And you notice that h is also in here. So now I use this particular form, and I know Hashim will recognize this. This comes up a lot from calculus. And it's not that bad once you start working with it. But the first time, it might be a bit onerous. Anyways, so f of x plus h is what I'm going to do right now. Maybe I'll circle that part blue, and I'll see if I change colors there if I remember. 1 minus 4. Anywhere I see an x, I replace it with x plus h. Minus square. Okay. Subtracting. In red, I'll just rewrite f of x. That just means the function with x in it. Now, I'm going to make a mistake on purpose. I haven't made any mistakes by mistake yet. What did I do that's wrong so far? Yes, I do. If you don't, your signs will be reversed. Lastly, over the letter H. It's just big and it takes up a lot of space. It isn't that nasty. Now, because there's a lot of algebra, there's a lot of chance for errors. 1 minus negative 4 times x is minus 4x. Minus 4 times h, minus 4h. So make sure you distribute. And I'm going to put the minus sign here and start a bracket, because in my head, at least, a reminder from the last question, x plus h squared really means x plus h times x plus h. So I go x times x, x squared. X times h, xh, plus h times x, xh again. So 2 groups of xh. That's h squared. Voila, done. Now, here, any questions up to this point, the blue? Okay. Nailed it. Now I'm going to think of this as a minus 1 in front or whatever. Negative sign times 1, negative sign times negative 4x, or minus 4x, negative sign times minus x squared. That's the most common error. We're not going to make it, but minus 1, 4x, x squared. Oliver H. Now, if you don't like drawing a huge fraction like that, you have an option. I'll show it to you. I'll leave this here in a minute, though. If I put a big old bracket on this and put 1 over h, is that the same thing? As long as I have the bracket, it is. Do you guys follow what I'm saying? Because some people hate having a big fraction, or sometimes it's actually easier to think of it this way. Now, like I said, I'll put it back the other way, but 1 over h, if I multiplied that through this bracket, in a sense, we'll just end up with this anyways, right? But some people like it because you can do it on one line and squeeze it. Okay. Now we just group like terms. I can go all the way from left to right. I can look for all the h squared. Now, how do we want to do it? I'll go for all the h squareds. Okay, this is the only h squared. Remember though, this is minus. You know what? I'll avoid some confusion. I will, you don't necessarily have to, but I will rewrite it. This time I'll practice the other way of writing it. Just for kicks. Means the same thing. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Simplifies quite a bit. I got the 1 and no other number but minus 1. They cancel. 1 minus 1. Okay, minus 4x. I rewrote that other one wrong, because I knew what the answer should be too. Minus 4h. Okay. And minus 4x and plus 4x. Okay? There's nothing to match with the minus 4h. But the x squared, look at that. Minus x squared plus x squared. Now I'll just write over the leftovers, basically. I'm going to just switch to one color now. I'm going to put it all over x. I really don't care which way you write it. At least I'm catching my language. Okay. Thinking about something else. That's a problem. Anyways, what do we do now? We distribute the division. Divide by h, divide by h, divide by h. Each of those three terms. Right? So, equals minus 4 minus 2x minus h. That is what that one simplifies to in the group. That's a lot of work, though. But, well, it just is. What are you going to do about it? That's how much work it is. Now, the last one, just so I don't have to scroll up, I have this down here. Find t. If f of t equals negative 31. Hold it a minute. Change the variable. Okay. Same equation. In another sense, what's a way of asking that if I'm using the letters y and x, because you're more familiar with this? What is this like? Which one do I have, the y or the x? You have the y, and you're finding the x. So f of x, or f of t is like y. So when y is equal to minus 31, what is the x equal to? Now, it doesn't matter that it's t. You could just say, well, f of t is minus 31. Well, let's just see here. So f of t really refers to 1 minus 4t minus t squared. T is that particular value. Maybe it's a time or something like this. Now, f of x, I'm going to just rewrite this. F of x. I'm used to using x's. F of t. Oh, that reversed on me. T equals 1 minus 4t minus t squared. That's what that means, right? And we're told specifically that f of t, the y value, is negative 31. If you did this problem and solved for x, you had, minus 4x minus x squared. I wouldn't change, like I'd give you full marks for this, don't worry. Now, how do we solve an equation like this? What's that?
Make it 0.
Oh, yeah. Get a 0 on one side. I got what you said. Yeah. Exactly. Quadratic equation, so we want to see if we can factor it. I'm going to move everything to the right side because then I'll have positive t squared. T squared plus 4t minus 32. Subtract the 1. Then, this is good because the first term is t squared, not 3t squared or something like that. I know it's positive 8, negative 4. I do it, yeah. Plus 8, t minus 4 are my factors. And then I say t plus 8 equals 0 when t is equal to negative 8. Or of the other factor, t minus 4 equals 0, that means t is positive 4. Those two terms would give me 0 in here. You could check, that would mean f of negative 8, negative 31 should come out. F of 4, negative 31 should come out. Okay? Okay. I said okay. You guys good with this? Okay, examine the graph of this function to answer each of the questions. Now this function is g of x. Y is really given by this function, g of x. It's no different than f of x. Okay, that part should be better. So reading this, this means what is the y value when the x value is 1, right? Open. X value equals 1. The function value at 1, g of 1, happens to be 1, right? At negative 4. G of negative 4. Yep, we've got a 3. $3.5. Well, we're going to use best estimates. I think 3.5 is about there, don't you? No, what am I thinking? I'm sorry. I was totally wrong with that. 3 and 4, 3.5 is right here. I did 2.5. What does that hole mean? Can't be. It looks like there's a hole at that spot. You can't say negative 1.5. It's not. It doesn't exist. So, what's the best way to notate that? There's a few ways. What do we want to use? Undefined? Sure. Hole there. Can't read it. Now, find 4 values of x where the function gives me 0. Well, y equals 0 is this x-axis line, right? So, I go with negative 1, left to right. Then my next one is half. So if you want to use decimal 5, I'm fine with that. X equals 1.5 or 3 halves, same number, or 1.5. Lastly, 2.5, which I identified before, or 5 halves, or 2.5. I just use improper fractions most often, so that's why I did it that way. 2.5, 1.5 is just fine. Don't have to use 3 halves, 5 halves. I do hope you know you can quickly switch back and forth, though. E now. Find the value r. If that number r, when you put it into the function, gives you 3, and r is less than 0, so it's a negative number. So where does the function give me 3? Here and here. So, with the first statement, that x value, we called r, could have been negative 4, or it could have been 2.2 or something like that, right? Something right here. But we were told a second restriction on that, r has to be smaller than 0. So it is the negative 4, okay? Now, I don't have too much on this assignment.